I guess you want to introduce us?
Yes, my name is Calvin Googoo. I'm from Membertou, and I'm running for council here in the elections in Membertou. I want to introduce you to my good friend Shawn Lesnick. It's running as alderman in Sydney, in our district. I grew up with this man from grade 7 up, and I always supported him. He's all about transparency. He's like me. We don't have speechwriters. We talk from the heart. We see communities. He's got the same problems in that community as we had. We have to start bridging our communities together. We're in a pandemic, and we got to work as one. We had a lot of problems with the city, right from the history we had. We got to stop fighting. We got to start educating. We got to start showing the people hands-on experience. I like to see Shawn in that council because I know he can bridge that gap to us to get our youth council in there. Just tell them what's going on in the city. And I love to see our culture more into the schools. So when they're little, they know they're not scared of natives.
100%.
And they're not scared of black people.
Exactly. Every race.
Every race. We got to start working together as an island. And that's what I believe, Unamagi. And I know Shawn's the man to get us going because I can get him anytime. He's a hard worker. Like me, we just came in on the rain. We don't care. We're fighting hard for our communities. And if we don't get in, I want you guys to be aware to keep going with our ideas. And I want to explain more what Shawn will do now.
Well, I want to thank you, Calvin, and I want to remind everybody watching this, first of all, we did no prep to this. The only prep we did is the perfect location to have it. And I can tell how choked up Calvin is right now because he actually made me choked up. Because it's so important. And when I came to meet Calvin, until I got to grade 7, I'll be frankly honest, all I knew of Membertou was me growing up in Hardwood Hill. I could see the church across Rotary Drive, and the development wasn't there. There was hardly anything except for the small community of Membertou way back by the church. And we never went over there because we basically grew up afraid, nervous. We don't know the native people, right? So anyways, and when I got in grade 7, it's the first time I intermingled with my native friends. And today's word was indigenous. I'm comfortable with native. Calvin and I had a moment, and I told him indigenous native, and he said it's the comfortable thing, it's the respect thing, so you don't got to worry about that. So I met Calvin in grade 7 in Mr. Penny's class in Sheriff Junior High, and at that time there was Calvin, there was Darren, there was Robin, and there was Marcia Googoo. And I actually made a joke in class when they announced all the names, how many Googoos is there? And Darren, of course, told me, shut up or you punch me in the head. But we became really solid friends. We had great years in junior high, and at that was the bridge for me to getting to know people at Membertou. Of course, my father drove a bus for, I think it was Ike Paul, and if you ever look at a picture of my dad, look at a picture of Donald Marshall, you'd almost think they're not far from brothers. So having said that, I've been working tirelessly for this campaign. It starts, the big day starts this Wednesday. It's a huge, important day. And I seen that Calvin had put himself forward, and I reached out and told him, and I made sure I posted on his post that I'm really happy for you. And what's really, really big, it's not the fact that he threw his name forward, it's that he threw his heart forward. And that's what matters more than anything. It's when you're in it with your heart first. And because I know, because I'm there. And I said, I got talking because when I went over to the fishing day over in Sidport, he and I spoke, and I spoke with a bunch of people, and we talked about this bridge, and we talked about bringing our council closer to the council of Membertou. We talked about looking at getting a guaranteed member of Membertou somewhere in the not so distant future as a mandatory seat in our council, and things that we can bridge this, because we need to stop everybody saying, not the Don Cherry used people, I think that got miscrewed a little bit. I think we need to just stop separating the distance, okay? We need to, we all bleed red, so don't kid yourself. We just need to work together, we need to understand, we need to respect, we need to go by both past treaties and past Canadian court rulings, and close everything, make it better, stop fighting.
Stop talking about it.
And stop talking about it, because we talk about Black Lives Matter, and then you have comedians, black comedians, and what do they say? They use all the words that they don't want us to say. So
I took my fight in the corporate world, and I seen that for our people, and I don't care. My people come first. The community comes first. I'm tired of watching our people, single dwelling homes. Shawn's community in Sydney, same thing. I see a lot of single people there with no homes to go. Breaks my heart when I see that. Everybody's leaving them behind. We gotta stop looking up. We gotta start looking around. We gotta start looking at people. We gotta take our single people that have no hope, no place to live. They're fighting for a couch to live on. In our communities, everybody's communities. We gotta stop hiding that problem. We gotta attack that problem. They're human beings. Shawn's a good man. All my life I was with him. He's not scared to take the fight. When we were in school, he's about 3 feet tall. I seen him go after 6 feet tall people, and I had to stop him. That's when I knew that man leads with his heart. I know his dad, I know his brothers, I know how he is. He's not scared to take that fight to the community. I want awareness to bring us all together. It's not about us, it's about you guys. And we want to be that voice. And I know Shawn will be a strong candidate. He showed up at our Aboriginal Day, Treaty Day for Donald Marshall. He was the only candidate in Sydney that went there. I have a lot of respect for a man that went there, non-native, with a bunch of natives practicing his rights. And he was welcomed with open arms.
100% I was.
You were.
100%.
And people gotta start recognizing our culture.
That opened my eyes to a lot. I mean, I always have my eyes open, but I listened to Terry, I listened to the music, and I listened to, and I watched everybody, how rounded up they were. And I went, and I was telling another gentleman, I actually woke up the next morning at 4 in the morning, because that's the way I function. I wake up when there's something on my mind, and I start thinking it through. And I had a long conversation with my wife, and I told her about the differences of the fisheries and the difference, all that's going on. And I broke it down, and I told her it all. And I said, yeah, it's so wrong. And I made so many valid points. And I want the bridge to be done, whether I'm a main part of the bridge in that, or whether I'm a part of a group, and should that be a group. And Calvin, I know, because I have such a great connection with Calvin, and I'm gonna highly recommend, for the reason we're sitting here, that member two, you guys want to have Calvin in your seat based on he's leading with his heart. Not saying nobody else is. I'm not talking about anybody else. I'm talking about Calvin right now. I will endorse Calvin to the nines. I wish him all the best. I wish everybody in member two and everybody in CBR all the best. And I hope that one day we never ever talk about the member two being like the used guys in a way of a racist type of.
We want to be more recognized as not just selling cigarettes.
100%. 100%.
We want people to come into this culture center. That's why I told Shawn to come here. Mm-hmm. We're in the Member Two Culture Center here in Member Two, sitting here with all the ancestors, creativity.
Yeah.
Member Two.
Don't
be shy to come here and look at the stuff and read the information.
Everybody should. It's absolutely a beautiful, put together museum. It's gorgeous, and we need more of this in our society.
And whoever supports Shawn, I know you're going to have a good deal, because I endorse him 100%. There's no lying in Shawn. He's like me. He works with his heart, thinks with his heart. And me and him are in our 50s now. We thought everything was going to be all right. We're fighting bullyism, racism. It's getting worse than when we were kids and we didn't even know what was going on back then.
right now, we're looking out for the kids. That's
Yeah.
our number one concern, because we're gonna be gone at some point, but we wanna know when we leave that we made a change for the young kids to come up and actually have a really solid chance. And we just want people all to have fairness and a decent living and a decent home and shelter and decent friendship. And after that, to get rich, that doesn't matter. You can't box that up and take it with you. So that's,
We gotta stop working separately.
yeah,
That's what's killing us. We're still doing that barrier line,
yes.
non-culture,
100%.
non-native, and
Yeah,
member.
yeah, we need to.
We gotta stop doing that. We gotta start joining,
Yeah,
start working. We all got the same problems here in Ugamagi, Cape Breton, Sydney. Everybody has it.
there's always little spots here and there, same thing. But
Not
we-
everybody prospers at the same time.
Yeah,
And we have to do that. Some people have mental addictions. We have great people qualified here in Edmonton. And I know Shawn has them in Sydney too, and we have them. But our culture's different when a native person comes and has a problem, because he has that barrier of talking to the non-native. We gotta make that barrier break, that non-native understands the native here in Sydney. We gotta get rid of that. Stop burning people's property, destroying them over racism. That's no good for everybody. That just shows everybody it's still going on here in Sydney. We're in 2020. I want to see Memberton prosper and happy. I want to see Sydney prosper and happy. I want to see my friend there prosper and happy.
I'm doing fine. I'm doing great. I know you're doing great, but I wanna blend it right off to the
No
little
good.
ones, the seniors and the friends.
Yeah, we
and the
got
neighbors.
disability people, seniors,
Yes,
mental addictions,
mental addictions, yeah.
single people with no homes, poverty.
We have
Food
some-
banks. We gotta start creating more food banks for these people around here, because when a pandemic comes, they won't be scared. They
Yes.
know they're gonna eat. We gotta help them with the people that are on welfare, that can't afford it, wondering, I gotta spend $100 on groceries. We gotta stop that. We gotta help them.
And a lot of that was gonna come back to changing the education system.
Exactly.
So that we prepare people better for life, because the nuts and bolts of what happens to people with addictions and with poverty situations, with lack of work, both experience and determination to get work, comes with education. If you educate them well enough as young kids and you train, it's like training an army. If you teach them well to be good soldiers, when they get older, they become good soldiers. But if they're not schooled that way and parented that way, they will fall into the system, and then there'll be a liability and a taxation to society, and that's not what we want. We want them to be a go-getter in society and an efficiency in society. That's what we want. That's what.
We want them to have the help they need. Everybody talks about it. Reconciliation, mental addiction, poverty, housing. It's good to talk about it. He has the same problems in his community. We have the same problems. Everybody does. And my eyes ain't wide open everywhere when you drive around and talk to people. It's heartbreaking when you sit there and you say, my welfare doesn't cover this. Wish we need a food bank. After a couple of houses, I really decided they really do need a food bank.
100%.
I'm fortunate I work. My friend fortunate he works. We all work, but not all of us work, and we got to start helping them people.
Have to reach out for your brotherhood.
Exactly. We're all human beings, just like my friend Shawn.
Yeah.
And I endorse this man for the rest of my life, no matter what he does.
I give you the same, and to everybody in District 5 and everybody here in Member 2, wish everybody the best, wish everybody who put their name forth the best, and wish all of everything prosperity.
Let's start bridging now, my friend.
Yes, you too.
Thank you very much.